Hey, Amerikanskis, did you put all your apples in the Fox basket? Shame! Guess what? Fox News isn't what it used to be. When I got hired by Fox News, I was hired by a guy by the name of Roger Ailes. Now, let me explain the difference between Ailes and the pack of hyenas that now run Fox News. The females who believe they are stronger than the pride of lions run by men. See, Roger was an institution in the political mainstream. I sat in that man's office thinking I was going to go in there for 10 minutes. I was there for a couple of hours, and Roger Ailes explained to me how he was on the forefront of all this political activity. He said, Kevin, I'm the one who gave Reagan the line that I won't hold my opponent's youth and inexperience against him. He says, I'd been told to keep my mouth shut when I got in the elevator, and Reagan asked me, what should he do? And I told him. And he goes, I was a young guy, thought my political career was over, but that was the beginning. And he went on to explain all these times where he was at the forefront of politics. See, it was in his blood. It was something that he enjoyed. He was asked by the Murdoch family to build what became Fox News, and he did it. Whether you liked it or not, or how he did it, it's arbitrary. Oh, Kevin, there's all these pretty, sexy women and this, that, and the other. Yeah, you know what? And a lot of them gave it up to Roger and gave it up to Bill O'Reilly and many others because you know what these women wanted to do? They wanted to get ahead. They were Kamala Harris's. Do you know that the president of Fox News used to be Roger Ailes' assistant? The president today. So these women that supposedly worked their way up through the ranks, wink, wink, they ended up running the organization. Roger gets railroaded out. All the men, Fox suddenly became too patriarchal, and they displaced all these men with all these women. The three women that I interfaced with were, well, they were all women. And by the way, all leftist women. So let me give you a little inside baseball on how I got hired. So Roger calls me in. He says to me, Kevin, and I'm just going to give you cut to the chase because I was with him for 2 hours. But he says, and he had just finished talking to President Trump, to Donald Trump, who was contemplating running for president. That's what was delaying my meeting. Calls me in, says he apologizes, has my stuff up on screens, all my work up on screens, had a dossier in front of him of all the things that I'd done. And when we cut to the chase, here's what he said. Kevin, you are one of the most talented people I've ever seen now that we had seen each other. And he goes, I am proud to offer you to join the Fox family. That's what he said to me. I couldn't have been more flattered. So I go with Bill and I get my contract. Well, they offered me a number and I declined. Yeah, the attorneys called me, gave me a number. I said, I'm not working for that. And I declined it. And my family's like, are you kidding? No, I don't work for that. That's not my number. So they doubled my number and I accepted. A year later, Roger was gone. His former assistant had taken over as president. When I met, the way I met her, I'm not going to say names, you can figure out who these people are. The way I met her was they just, here's your new number. And I said, I got my new contract. I said, that's unacceptable. I sent it back to legal. And they said to me, well, Kevin, we don't normally give contributors any more money. I said, well, then fine, because I'm not working for you for that. Again, I gave Roger a deal, even though he doubled it. I gave him a deal because I wasn't going to work for what he offered me. It was insulting. So I got a 31% raise that next year because the new president of Fox, a woman, one of the hyenas that fired me, said, I love his work. So fast forward. 3 times on Fox, I was reprimanded. I won't even bore you with the details except for one, where I was asked outnumbered what I thought the FBI could have planned for Trump. And I said, well, it could be something completely benign, or it could be something very sinister. That's what I said. It's a range of things in between that are possibilities, but based on Strzok and Page's inputs, it's leaning more towards they had a more sinister plan. Harris Faulkner gets it in her ear. Make sure you correct Kevin. Kevin, surely you're not saying the FBI is trying to get Donald Trump. And I said, I gave you a range of possibilities. That's not what I said. And I get back to my home office. The hyenas have called to warn me that I'm too controversial. Now, that happened to me 3 times. And each time I sat there shaking my head. You're blowing up on social media. It was all bots. None of it was legit, but they followed it and they wanted to believe it. And they always wanted me to change. And I said, look, you hired me. Roger Ailes told me one thing. He said, Kevin, respect the brand. And I always did. So fast forward, Kavanaugh gets accused of being a multiple gang rapist. I don't know where he found the time, being an outstanding student athlete in high school, drinking lots of beer. But it got to the point of ridiculousness, and I tweeted, the Kavanaugh accusers are lying skanks. I get the phone call. It's one of the hyenas, says to me, and we're friends, says to me, tell me you didn't tweet that. Tell me you didn't tweet that. I said, tweet what? She repeats it. Tell me a staffer did it. Wanted me to throw a staffer under the bus. I said, no, I tweeted that. Had a discussion. I said, look, this has gone to the point of ridiculousness. Kavanaugh should be approved as a Supreme Court justice, period. His record is impeccable. I don't know any man who could withstand that kind of scrutiny, including your father and your husband. I said this to this executive. I said, no man could pass this stupid test. And I have 4 sons, and I'll be damned if I let any of them have to go through this just because they're getting a promotion and a bunch of hags, a bunch of skanks decide they want to team up against them, because we're supposed to believe women. Women are ruthless and skanky. There are lots of them. Now, there are lots of wonderful women, and I love and adore them. The majority of women, particularly conservative women, I love you, all of you. But let me tell you, the left is full of skanks. They will fake pregnancy tests. They will let a man pay for another man's baby. They will take alimony when they don't deserve. They will do whatever it takes. So don't tell me that skanks don't exist. So anyway, we had this conversation. She says, you please just take it back, blah, blah, blah. I'm afraid I can't. Within a minute, on my watch, my smart watch, I see where I've been fired by the hyenas. She said to me, point blank, we have women at Fox News who are Democrats who took offense. And I said, if you have women at Fox News who are Democrats who took offense, then they took offense because they're skanks. Because I wasn't talking to them. I was talking about the Kavanaugh accusers, and I stand by it. And to this day, I've been asked many times in company where you wondered, what are they wanting? And I said, I don't care what you think about me. I stand by my tweet. I was flying back on a private jet with a friend of mine. He didn't even know what happened. I told him. And you know what he said to me? This very wealthy man, he says, I applaud you for sticking to your principles. Well, let me explain something to you, America. Fox News has no principles. Fox News is full of skanks. It's full of Democrat women. And in fact, I will tell you one other inside baseball. I'm sitting in a meeting talking about doing a show. I'm pitching different concepts for shows. And I said, look, surely we can do better than MSNBC, who's got Rachel Maddow. That's the competition. I could write a show that would make Maddow non-existent. And you know what this woman said to me? She said, I find Rachel Maddow to be very talented. She says, I think she's profound. I said, yeah, if you like a person that's staccato. So, America, today, we're going to be talking about, well, what else? Who else? Donald J. Trump. And we got some revelations for you. Yep, going to be revealing things that, quite frankly, have nothing to do with anything, but that's what we're going to do. And I'm mocking her in this meeting. I said, if that's the style you like, then great. She's amazing. But here's what I can tell you. I could deliver a show that would knock her out of the saddle in an instant. And we were talking about me doing a show. So here's another little inside baseball. I pitched a show. They did that same show on Fox Nation and it failed miserably. Why? Because I wasn't doing it. You can't take my pitch and think it's going to be successful because you throw another black dude's head on it. But I'm just telling you, this is inside baseball crap from Fox. Fox News has not been conservative since Roger Ailes died. Now, Roger did not want it to be, he wanted it to lean right, but it to be fair and balanced. And he told me this, but he wanted us to be ourselves as long as you respected the brand. And I never disrespected the brand. When I got fired, I didn't say a word about these clowns at Fox. Here's what I said. I said, it is Fox's prerogative to do whatever they want with an employee, or in my case, a contractor. It's their prerogative. I don't believe what I did is worthy of being let go, but that's their prerogative. And I let it go until Melissa reads to me. She reads me a thing that says, Fox says my comments were reprehensible. I went on a national radio show the next day and I said, let me tell you what's reprehensible. Jesse Waters screwing around with one of his producers while he's married. That's reprehensible. Ed Henry hanging out with strippers while he's married. That's reprehensible. But me tweeting that the Kavanaugh accusers are lying skanks is not reprehensible in comparison. And I could have thrown Charles Payne under the bus as well, but I didn't mention Charles. But he was screwing around on his wife who had brain cancer. Now, see, those are reprehensible things, not making a comment. So the writing was on the wall for me with Fox. 3 times reprimanded for saying nothing, just giving my honest opinion about something. And then all these other things leading up to this, to where they finally said, oh, we're going to fire the guy. And I was telling everybody along the way, you don't get it. Melissa, what's her face? Harris, she's not a conservative. Shepard Smith, not a conservative. Juan Williams gets his butt saved by one of the staunchest conservatives at Fox, Sean Hannity, and he's not a conservative. And I could go on. There's only about 4 solid conservatives in the net, certainly on the Fox News side, and then you can add Lou Dobbs and Stuart Varney on the other, and maybe Charles Payne. But the overwhelming majority of Fox News is a bunch of leftists pretending. That's what you have with Fox. So when I left, there was no, oh, what's Kevin going to do? Poor thing, he ain't going to get a job. Man, I work for myself. All these stupid clowns out there. Oh, yeah, what you going to do now, silly Negro? They threw you to the wolves or whatever. Yeah, well, you know what? You can have them. And I was telling all my conservative friends, you need to understand, Fox isn't going to be around. I'm a business consultant, a management consultant. I know risk when I see it. I know when a company is not going the right way. Now, you watch this election cycle, you watch what Fox did. If you want to tell me Fox is the conservative version of news, I beg to differ. I beg to differ, rather. Whatever. What's the saying? I beg to differ. I don't beg for nothing. But anyway, you get what I'm saying. They're not conservative, and they haven't been for years. And they've been fooling us. Oh, Fox News, well, look at our ratings. Look at our ratings. You've got Sean Hannity, you've got Tucker, you've got Laura Ingraham, and you've got some conservative light, if you will, and that's it. But they want to come off as if they really care about us. They don't care about us. I'm not quick little pat myself on the back. This is the one thing I will say. On Fox News, I delivered. When I came on TV, you were ready to watch. And I delivered because I knew what I was going to talk about. And it wasn't going to be from a single perspective of conservatism. It was only going to be about truth. And if Donald Trump had been wrong, I would have been criticizing him on Fox News. In fact, I did an interview with Sean Hannity where I said, look, prior to the election, these are the negatives about Trump that are going to make it tough for him to get elected. And I gave pros and cons of each candidate. No skin in the game, no dog in the game, no dog in the hunt, whatever you want to call it. Use whatever euphemism you want. But I gave honest opinions every single time. And it didn't matter about the political ideologies. So what I'm telling you folks is this: Fox is on a death march. They don't even know it. I've said many times, you can slap the head of that dinosaur and the tail won't feel it for 2 weeks. They are dead man walking. Somebody's going to come along and take them. And I'm going to tell you, follow me on this YouTube channel and you'll find out I'll give you better commentary than those clowns could give you in 50 years. The only advantage they have is people know them, so they bring the news to them. They bring the scoops to them. But that day is coming where they won't be bringing that stuff, and there'll be nothing left but leftist hyenas, excuse me, these women running the show who actually believe that Rachel Maddow is a talent, who actually believe that Lawrence O'Donnell makes sense. I've heard this out of their stupid mouths. So it's long past time for me to criticize them, because I don't care if I'm ever back on that channel. There are many things better. My channel will be 1,000 times better, and I'm going to prove it to Fox. And it is my goal in life to have them call me, begging me to please come on and do an interview. Now, whether that happens or not, it ain't going to impact the quality of my life. But folks, that is the inside scoop of this stupid organization run by a bunch of leftist women who want to fool an audience into believing that they care about the conservative point of view. They do not care about it. Everybody over there is so couched in what they can or cannot say that they're afraid to speak out. Well, if you think I'm ever going to be afraid to speak out, wrong. YouTube, you can do whatever you want with this, but I'm telling you right now, I don't care whether you're a Democrat, Republican, whether you like Fox or NBC or whatever the other channels are that are out there. I'm going to speak the truth about these issues. I don't have a dog. The only thing I care about is America. And everybody that's ever followed my work knows it. I've been 100% consistent since I started this. And at some point, this channel, I'm going to make you a bet, will be bigger than any of the Fox News pundits, Sean Hannity, Tucker, all of them. And it might even be bigger than all of them combined. So thank you in advance for listening. We'll be back. We simply couldn't do this without you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for watching the KEV Talk series. Thank you for sharing them with others. Don't be a hog. Let other people know. Thanks a lot.